Hello guys, this is another Sharing 101, and this is my new mock-up. This is the 20th Century Fox Fanfare, or the Fanfare theme logo by Alfred Newman. So if you want to download this, it's free, and I have a link in my today's episode. You have can download this one. So this one is the 20th Century Fox Fanfare. Okay, so it's a very detailed notation, field drums or snare, then bass drum, and then the three trumpets or four trumpets, and then trombones, three trombones, and horns. No, one to four horns or French horns. Okay, so yeah. Okay, page 2. Um, the woodwinds and the strings just doubled in the melody. So if you notice, the melody of the violin 1, 2, viola, and cello are in octaves. Okay, so the main harmonic instrument here is the brass section. Okay, so the woodwinds just it's a doubling with the strings. Okay, so let me share to you my Cubase mockup. Okay, so this one is my Cubase mockup. So the same thing. I played all parts. No, that's the very effective way on how to mock up. Don't. It's a no-no if you have a notation or Sibelius notation, finale, or MuseScore notation and translate it to MIDI. Oh, that's a very no-no, because the important thing here is how you play. So it depends on the velocity. When you import a MIDI from a notation, the default setting of the velocity are really equal. So that it has no feelings or fire when you play every instrument. Okay, so let me play this one. And oh, wait, yeah, this one. Okay, so that's my mock-up, and I want to share to you what libraries I used in this 20th century fanfare of Alfred Newman. In my woodwinds, I use the BBCSO orchestra, and I use the woodwinds on that library, no, the BBCSO professional version. And then in my brass section, I used two libraries. First is the BBCSO brass, and I also use the Abbey Road one library. It's still the same thing. It's a Spitfire library. One thing here is that I noticed that the brass of the BBCSO lacks the biting tone. So I just double it with the Abbey Road one library to have a more biting sound with the brasses. No, yeah, okay, all of it. No, all of it. even the trumpets, I also double or layered the Abbey Road 1 trumpet, as well as the trombones. Yeah, the trombones. So if we listen to uh, the brass section only, so this is the brass section. It has a biting sound. Okay, so let me experiment with this. I will mute all the Abbey Road 1 library and hear for yourself what is the tone of the tone of the BBC SO brass parts. Okay, so this one is purely BBC SO. Yeah. So that's the lacking part with the BBCSO. Uh, Mixing with the Abbey Road 1, um, it will give more biting sound or biting tone for the brass parts. Okay, again. Yeah. So it's a very different way on uh, layering. So it helps uh, creating a more biting brass tone for the brass part. Okay. So here again, let me share to you the woodwinds. Yeah. Okay. So next is the percussion section. So this is the percussion section. I all played it. Okay. There's no translating to MIDI notation. Okay. Okay. So that's the sound of the BBCSO percussion section. And the last one is the strings. Of course, I use the Cinematic Studio strings. This is my go-to strings. I wish I have cinematic brass. Maybe this December, I will purchase the brass section of the Cinematic Studio brass. No, and I want to compare it with the BBCSO and the Abbey Road 1 Orchestral Foundation this December. Okay? So this one is the strings. Okay? The strings. Yeah, that's the Cinematic Studio strings. Okay? So combining with the strings and the woodwinds, this is how it sounds, no? It gives more character to the melody. Yeah. Okay. So all in all, That's how it sounds. Okay, let me share to you what plugins I used. I of course I have a reverb send to each of the sections. So a reverb for the string section, a reverb for the wind section, brass section, and percussion section. Okay, so uh, the one I've used in this reverb is the uh, PSP 2445 of PSP AudioWares. Okay, so it has a great sounding reverb. So I choose a large hall for this one, but the important thing here is how to make it more realistic is we have to adjust the pre-delay of every section. Okay, so starting from the strings, the pre-delay, this one, the pre-delay is about 60. Why? Because if we analyze the sound, the the strings is the nearest to the orchestral conductor, but the bouncing up sound, it has a longer bouncing up sound up to the wall of a hall, and then it goes back again to the orchestral conductors. So that is why we have an increase of delay. Okay, so the next reverb is the winds, no, the woodwinds, and here I lessen the pre-delay. So uh, going farther and farther from the orchestral conductor, you have to lessen the pre-delay. So here I adjust it to the middle increment here of the pre-delay. Okay, and then the next one is the brass. It's so brass is getting farther and farther. So here the pre-delay is about 20 plus. No, here this one. Okay, and then the last pre-delay reverb is the percussion section, because yeah, the percussion section is the farthest, but they are very near to the wall of the hall. So that's it. That's why the pre-delay is lesser. So yeah, lesser. So I set it to between 12 to 24 seconds or milliseconds. Okay, so that is the secret on how to use the delay for orchestral mixing. So strings is the most it has a greater pre-delay, and then going to the winds, it has a lesser pre-delay, and then brass lesser, much lesser, and then the percussion section is the most less pre-delay. Okay, so that's the main thing on how to use the reverb. Okay, and then here in my mix bus, yeah, in my mix bus, I use the Plugin Alliance AMEC compressor. This one is it has a great way on how to control or compress the compression. Okay, so it gives more punch on the mix. Okay, the AMEC compressor. Okay, so I just use the mix bus gentle fader. Okay, and then the next one, another Plugin Alliance EQ. This one is the Kirchoff EQ, and then I just boost here at around 1 1000. Oh yeah, 1 kilohertz at 2 dB. Okay, with a wide bell cut. Yeah, wide bell. And then here, I just boost at around 1.3 dB at around 73 hertz. Okay, 73 hertz. And here, I boost 3.1 dB at around 27 kilohertz. Okay, so that's the main thing on how to use EQs. It's not a surgical thing, but it's some kind of boosting or yeah, it's very similar to additive EQ. And then here another EQ. This one is another Plugin Alliance, the Millennia EQ. I just use the default setting of this one, yeah, because even in the default setting, it gives an additive character to the sound. No, there's no uh, uh, there's no setting for this one. It's just a default setting. Okay. And then, of course, this one, the fresh air. This one is a free. This one is a free plug-in of Slate Digital, the fresh air. It gives a sparkle to the mix. So this one I just boosted 10 and 5 on the lower range and 10 on the higher range. Okay, it's very sensitive, so that's why I just boosted a little bit, not 10 and 5. So if you want to have this, go to Slate Digital and download this fresh air. Okay, and then the next one is a Waves plugin. It's a imager or stereo imager. So I just widen the stereo pan for this one. Yeah. Okay, this one. And then the next one is a maximizer. So can use a maximizer before the limiter. The very important or the difference between a maximizer and limiter. Maximizer, of course, in the term maximize, it maximizes the whole bandwidth or the whole frequency range as well as the transients, no? And then you just have to set your output at around this one, -4 dB. And then you will notice that if you use a maximizer, the details of the frequency ranges are very obvious, okay? So the last in the chain is a limiter, stock plugin of Cubase. This is a limiter. I just cut around -2 dB. Yeah. So that's the sound of my mix. Okay, one more time, guys. Yeah, one more time. Yeah, that's the main thing about mixing. It really adds color to your mix. Um, so that's it, guys. Just want to share to you how I mock up this 20th Century Fox Fanfare logo theme of Alfred Newman. Okay, so if you want to have a copy of the piece, I included it here. So you just have to click and you can download it here. Okay, So that's it, guys. So see you again on another sharing 101. Bye-bye.